Vian sat on her bed, staring at the phone for what felt like the millionth time that day. She had sent Taehyung multiple texts and called him countless times, but he still hadn't responded. It had been a week since their argument, and she was growing more anxious by the minute. She paced around her room, biting her nails nervously. As she tried to distract herself from the worry gnawing at her insides. She couldn't shake the feeling that something was wrong. That Taehyung was in trouble or hurt. She knew they had fought, but she never expected him to completely shut her out like this. Ryan's mind raced with all the worst case scenarios. What if he was in an accident? What if he was sick and needed help? She couldn't bear the thought of something happening to him while she was sitting here helpless and alone. She grabbed her phone, her fingers trembling as she dialed his number one more time. The phone rang and rang, but there was no answer. Tears welled up in her eyes as she sank to the floor, feeling utterly lost and defeated. She scrolled through their old messages, trying to find some clue as to what had gone wrong between them. The argument had been heated, but she never imagined it would lead to this, to Taehyung ignoring her completely. Ryan's heart ached with the weight of uncertainty. She didn't know if he was okay, if he was safe, if he still cared about her. The silence from his end was deafening, suffocating her with its absence. Van sat on the ground, tears streaming down her face as she felt the weight of uncertainty crushing her down. She felt so small and insignificant in that moment, consumed by the fear of losing Taehyung forever. She sat there for what felt like hours, lost in her thoughts and fears. The darkness of the night enveloped her, mirroring the darkness in her heart as she grappled with the unknown. As she lay in bed that night, staring up at the ceiling, Wan couldn't shake the feeling of dread that clung to her like a shadow. She tossed and turned, unable to find any peace or solace in sleep. The next morning brought no relief from her anxiety. She checked her phone, hoping against hope for a message from Taehyung. But there was nothing, just the same empty silence that had plagued her for days. Van felt like she was losing herself in the void of uncertainty. She did not know if she could go on like this, not knowing if Taehyung was safe, not knowing if he still cared about her. Soon enough, she heard the doorbell ring, her eyebrows furrowed. Who could it be? She mumbled to herself, walking towards the door. Van stood frozen, seeing him standing in front of her. She rubbed her eyes to make sure that she is not dreaming or imagining things. Still reeling from the shock of Taehyung's sudden appearance at her door. She had been pacing back and forth, worrying herself sick over his silence, only to have him show up out of the blue. As soon as she saw him standing in her doorway, a mixture of relief and anger washed over her. Without thinking, she lunged at him, fists flying as she landed blow after blow on his chest. Taehyung yelped, trying to shield himself from her wrath. Wait, stop! But Ryan was on a mission, fueled with the frustration and fear that had been building up inside her for days. She continued to rain down punches on him, not stopping until she had exhausted herself. Finally, she stepped back, panting heavily as she glared at Taehyung. What the hell, Taehyung? You scared the crap out of me. I thought something had happened to you. Taehyung rubbed his sore chest, a sheepish grin across his face. I'm sorry, darling. I wanted to give you a surprise, but I couldn't get a leave from my boss. I didn't mean to worry you. Van's anger melted away at his explanation, replaced by a mix of amusement and affection. She couldn't stay mad at him for so long, especially when he looked so adorable standing there with his puppy dog eyes. She let out a huff laughter, shaking her head in disbelief. You idiot, she said. A smile tugged at the corners of her lips. You could have at least sent me a message or something. Taehyung chuckled, stepping closer to her and wrapping his arms around her in a tight hug. I know. I wanted to surprise you. But I missed you so much, Ryan. I just had to see you. Ryan melted into his embrace, feeling the tension and worry of the past week melt away in his arms. She buried her face in his chest, inhaling his familiar scent and reveling in the warmth of his presence. I missed you too, she whispered, her voice barely above a whisper. But next time, please don't scare me like that again. I thought you were about to break up with me. Taehyung pulled back slightly, cupping her face in his hands as he gazed into her eyes with a look of sincerity. I promise, Ryan, I'll never make you worry like that again. From now on, I'll always keep you in the loop. And I can never leave you. You are stuck with me for eternity, madam. Ryan smiled up at him, feeling a surge of love and gratitude welling up inside her. Despite the rocky start to his surprise visit, she couldn't help but be touched by his gesture. Okay, she said softly, leaning in to press a gentle, just don't do it again, or else I might have to beat you up for real next time. Taehyung chuckled against her lips, his laughter vibrating through her as he pulled her closer. I'll keep that in mind, he said with a wink, but for now, can we just enjoy being together? And so they did, wrapped up in each other's arms, basking in the warmth of their reunion. And the knowledge that no matter what challenges they faced, they would always have each other to lean on. As they settled onto the couch together, sharing stories and laughter as if no time had passed at all. One knew deep down that their love was stronger than any distance or uncertainty that came their way. And with that Taehyung by her side, she felt like they could conquer anything that life threw their way, one surprise visit at a time. Hey guys, I hope you enjoyed it. Please like, share, and subscribe, and comment if you want. And if you have any suggestions, yeah, just drop it in the comment section and I'll see. Thank you. Bye.